Well, you moved him, I didn't. I'm expressing.
Mr Speaker, the policy that has been adopted by the government was considered by Cabinet last night. And so that's why today, Mr Speaker, I was in a position to advise that today we are releasing the plan, the detailed plan, Mr Speaker, that sets out how we reach net zero emissions by 2050 by focusing on technology, not taxes, by ensuring that we're respecting people's choices and not seeking to mandate them and tell them how to live and what to buy and how they're supposed to do things on their farms and other places, Mr Speaker, to ensure we have a strong portfolio of technologies that can be successful over the next 30 years to achieve these targets, to get the balance right between affordability and emissions reduction, to keep prices down and to keep the lights on and ensure that there's the transparency and accountability, not just on emissions reduction, but ensuring that we're constantly monitoring the socio-economic impacts of these policies, particularly in rural and regional areas, Mr Speaker, and we're confident, absolutely confident, the plan that we have, the plan that we have agreed, Mr Speaker, the plan that we have adopted, that sets out our policies in detail as to how this is going to be achieved, will be a positive economic benefit, as the modelling indeed shows, Mr Speaker. Now, we will release that modelling as we indeed should, Mr Speaker, and we certainly will. Today we've released the plan and we will soon release the modelling as well. But, Mr Speaker, that is very different to what happened at the last election. At the last election, there was a choice between a 2030 target of 26 to 28% by the government and a 45% target offered by the Labor Party. Now, the Labor Party was asked to release the costings and modelling that went to their policy. They refused to do it. Now, Mr Speaker, to be fair... The
Prime Minister will resume his seat. The Leader of the Opposition on a point of order.
Yes, Mr Speaker, I asked the Prime Minister to table the document that he's referring to.
I've said to the Leader of the Opposition, you can only do that at the conclusion of the answer. No, it's actually really straightforward.
Yes.
The Prime Minister has the call.
Mr Speaker, so that modelling will be released. Of course it will be released. I've already said it would be, Mr Speaker, and it'll be there to demonstrate, Mr Speaker. But what I do know is that we won't see any modelling on the Labor Party policy because there isn't a policy. There isn't any modelling, just like there was no modelling on their 45% emissions reduction target, and they couldn't tell anyone what it cost because there was nothing in it. Mr Speaker, they have a target without a plan. Mr Speaker, they have a target without a cost. Mr Speaker, they have a blank cheque that they want to put into law and force it on Australians and mandate them to do things, Mr Speaker. That's what laws are supposed to do. That's not our plan. We're going to back Australians to achieve this goal, this target. We know they want to achieve it. We know they're already taking actions in their own lives, in their own households, in their own businesses, in their own industries, and they're moving forward, and we're going to back them to do it. The Labor Party thinks you have to make a law to force them to do it, Mr Speaker. That's not our approach. That's not our approach. That's their taxes approach.
The Leader of the Opposition.
Yes, Mr Speaker, I know that you will foresee this coming, but I would ask that the Prime Minister table the document that he's referring to.
Is leave granted?
No. Mr Speaker, I simply say that this is a public document.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
It's a public document, Mr Speaker.
No, I'll hear from the Leader of the Opposition again.
Yes, Mr Speaker, if it's a public document, then it should be available to the public, which is why it should be tabled.
Well, just saying, if the request is whether the Prime Minister will table it.
Australia's long-term emissions reduction plan, a whole-of-economy plan to achieve net zero emissions by 2050. I would invite at some future opportunity, as the standing orders allow, for the Leader of the Opposition to table his plan, Mr Speaker, for achieving the same thing. I'll be waiting a while. I've been waiting for 2 years.
The Prime Minister, you just need